Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nimbasa City League Pick'ems for Season 3. We're into Week 2. So, yeah, first week's gone by. Um, so, we'll have a look at the results and have a look at the standings, and then we will have a look at Week 2's matchups. So, uh, don't really feel like I need to do any huge long intros or anything. Yeah, we'll just get straight into it. And we got the week 1 matchups. Um, so the losing team has been grayscaled, um, just to make it easier so that we can see who lost and who won. And then we've got the, the scores, I guess you could say, of who picked them from last week. So in the Calgary Talonflames versus the LA Latios, we see that majority of people got that one correct. We had an upset win with the UNC Wingulls over the Atlanta Raptors. Also with the Crystal Palkia versus the Green Bay Glissopods there, a bit of an upset win. Another upset win here, Snow Point City Blizzard versus the Wiltshire War Turtles. Tampa Bay Weasels, most people were expecting to win here against the West Virginia Voltorbs. Upset win once again. It looks like half of these games were upset wins, so that's pretty interesting. Um, yeah, Cleveland Cavaliers going down to the Pittsburgh Piplups, so bit of an upset there as well. And Adelaide Overheat, I did manage to take out Hamu and the Helsinki Heat, who has a real nice looking logo now, so very cool there. And then the Calgary Flareons did lose to the Ladin Lantern, which was not entirely unexpected. But it was actually a lot closer game than you would think looking at the Pick'em scoreline there. But yeah, so that leaves Howler having a perfect week this week, getting 8 points. So that's pretty crazy right there. Everyone else getting maximum 6 right. 2 wrong, with Evan Mortal, Phil there, all getting 6 right and 2 wrong. And then Ben Hamu Hayden getting 5 right and 3 wrong. And then everyone else going even or lower. So they 4 correct, 4 wrong, puts them on 0 points. But yeah, so Howler is topping the leaderboard right now. Good work, Howler. Quite a turnaround from your Pick'ems last season. Pretty crazy right there. And our bottom 5, Pie, Stan Pants, Gigis, Shade, and Tiff. So got some work to pull there, but yeah, that's all right. It's only the first week, plenty of weeks left to go. So yeah, good luck to everybody in the Pick'ems. We're coming into week 2 matchups here. We have the Commissioner versus the Season 2 champion in the Ladin Lantern versus the Atlanta Raptors. Helsinki Heat versus the Calgary Talonflames, so a battle of the newcomers. Adelaide Overheat versus Pittsburgh Piplups. So we have the CCBL Season 1 final rematch. Hopefully I can come out on top this time. West Virginia Voltorb versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wiltshire War Turtles versus the Tampa Bay Weasels. Green Bay Glissopods versus the Snow Point City Blizzard. UNC Wingulls versus the Crystal Palkia. And LA Latios versus the Calgary Flareons. So, yeah, that's the matchups. We'll go through them one by one and have a look at their scores as well. Yeah, so I guess I've got the scores showing up on the first slide. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so a lot of people going for Ian and the Ladin Lantern this week. Not much love for the former champion in Austin. Um, Unfortunately, he did have that loss in the first week, so that's going to play some play a part of the factors here. Um, Ian won his match, though like he was expected to, um, against the newcomers. But um, yeah, I don't think the Staraptors have as tough as of a time as this scoreline um, makes it out to be. Like Austin definitely has some threats on his team that Ian is gonna have to worry about. But Ian does have like a lot of threats for Austin's team. Megaladias is quite a problem, though. Like something like a D-Dance Salamence or something like that is really gonna make the Megaladias scared. Um, Tornado Styrian is going to be a nice switch in for things like I don't know. It's going to be nice for things like the Virizion and the Hitmontop and even the Roserade, to be honest. Going to be a threat to deal with. That Regenerator is going to put in work. Conkelda is going to definitely destroy things, as it always does. Austin can't reliably run a Trick Room team this week because Ian does have the things like the Kinkelder, the Bronzong, even the Diggersby and the Diancie, Pangoro, all going to appreciate a Trick Room more than some of Austin's team will. Whimsicott also gets that Prankster, so Trick Room isn't going to be a big problem there. Yeah, so I think this is actually a tough matchup for Austin, but not unwinnable, though it is historically in Ian's favor. Um, Austin is like me and really struggles every time that we come up against Ian. But yeah, this is Austin's turn to to create an upset. So good luck, Austin, and see how you go. Next up, we have the Helsinki Heat versus the Calgary Talonflames, with most people siding with the Talonflames here. I think the Helsinki Heat actually have a pretty good chance in this one. Not to be, uh, don't get me wrong, the Talonflames have a great team, um, but Hamu was definitely in a position where he could have beat me last match, um, depending on some plays that he did or did not decide to make. So it's I feel like it's definitely going to be tough for Shade to deal with that. And like things like Terrakion, even though it's weak to Alolan Ninetales, can still destroy the Alolan Ninetales. Like Crobat is not going to appreciate a Terrakion. Dragaugi is not really going to appreciate a Terrakion either. Zangoose isn't. Xurkitree's not. He does have those walls like the Cafagragus and the Shaman, and even the Blastoise that are going to appreciate a Terrakion a bit more. But and the Mew as well, I guess. But then the Helsinki Heat do have like the Skarmory, the Megaladios, the Alolan Muck, a lot of stuff that is going to be able to threaten out the Talonflames team for sure. Going to be a close game, um, but yeah, it's going to be close. I think the Helsinki, personally, I think the Helsinki Heat can win this one. Um, though that goes a bit against the grain with the rest of the Pick'ems people, with Calgary Talonflames looking like the favorite in this matchup. Anyway, next match is the Adelaide Overheat versus Pittsburgh Piplups. Me versus Mountain Dew. Um, last time we came up against each other was in the finals of the CCBL, as I said last time, as I said earlier in this video. I did not come off the better in that matchup. But my team is completely different. Um, his team is relatively different. He's still got that crocodile, which is what's what stopped me from winning mainly in the last matchup. Um, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting matchup and an interesting team on both sides. Not going to go too much into detail, obviously, once again. Um, but so once again, I'm glad that everyone has my back. Well, I mean, majority has my back. I don't want to let you guys down. Um, but Mount Jupiter will definitely be looking for the upset here, and to keep his streak against me going, streak of one game. But yeah, I'll put in my best effort. He'll put in his, and hopefully I will be the winner. Because I gotta hope that, right? I want to put in a good effort this season, so yeah. Anyway, next battle is the West Virginia Volta versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. This one is very one-sided. Um, I mean, Ace actually put up a pretty good fight in his first match. He played really well, considering what his estimated skill level is at, compared to it was Frost as his first opponent, right, Cade? And the LA Latios, who is quite an experienced and successful and like just good in general battler and like draft league player. So um, I think that uh, I think that Ace definitely has the opportunity to cause some upsets this season. Um, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to watch him improve as he keeps playing, at the very least. Dom has made some drops for his team, dropping Aegislash and Gligar. Aegislash and Gligar. He picked up, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he picked up something else and something else to replace those. Um, I don't want to discuss that too much, hence why I haven't even changed the slides yet, because I believe Ian will be doing trades videos at some point um, each week. Each week the trades are done, at least, and he'll go over his thought process about them then. But in my opinion, the trades do weaken Dom's team a little bit, make it a little bit less threatening. And if Ace is going to capitalize at any time, then I feel like this is a good team to capitalize against. Kyron Black is a big threat, has coverage for things like the Toxapex, um, and the Tangrowth obviously isn't going to want to come in on a Kyron Black. Jolteon is going to get hit hard by the Kyron Black. Um, Umbreon, not so much, but I mean, Ace does have things that will be able to handle the Umbreon, most likely. Things like Primarina will be useful in that regards. Silvally too, depending on the set. And like, I feel like Mega Altaria is not the best, um, not the best mon to deal with Ace's team, to be honest. Mega Venusaur is a real threat to it. Kyron Black's a real threat to it, even though it's got that pixelate hyper voice and stuff like that. Like Kyron Black can take one and hit back real hard with an Ice Beam or like a Z Ice move. Silvally can be a real threat in that regards too. Um, even if it's just parting shutting out on the Mega Altaria into something that's going to tank hit and do some real damage back with like the Fortress or something like that with the Gyro Ball or a Volts, like just Volt switching out. It's got Ace has got lots of momentum on his team, which is really going to help too. Um, but yeah, so a lot of faith in Dom for this match, but I think that Ace could possibly pull out a win here if he keeps up the level of play that he showed that he can do his last match, and maybe like improves a little bit. As I said, um, it's going to be good to watch him improving over the course of this season. So yeah, hope to see him improve and be able to consistently put up a fight. So that's all we can ask at this point. Next up, we got the Wiltshire War Turtles versus the Tampa Bay Weasels. Phil's team is scary. The Weasels, Tampa Bay Weasels, Ben's team over on the other side is pretty scary too. I believe he switched Slow Bro for Slow King or something like that. He still wants my melodic, but well, I mean, he doesn't really want it as much anymore. But I'm not giving it to him. I still want to use it myself. But yeah, so Phil had a bit of an upset loss, I believe. I can't even remember the first slide anymore, but yeah, to Magic, I think it was. So who knows which way this will go? He's got a really scary team. Though the Weasels do have some really strong walls to be able to tank those hits, and he's got that sun that's gonna be a threat for things like the Jirachi. The Suicune's not gonna appreciate things being in sun, like the Victory Bell being in sun. Heliolisk being in sun is gonna hit really hard. Mega Houndoom in sun is obviously gonna hit really hard. And like the Tapu Koko terrain's not really gonna help that much. It's gonna boost the Heliolisk. It's gonna like yeah, it's not gonna be that useful as it could be in other matchups. But Phil was a really strong battler. But then again, so is Ben. Ben obviously made it to the finals of the NCL last season. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup, and it's going to be a bit of a deciding factor to how these seasons really go, I think. But it's going to be a close matchup. Phil edging out Ben in the pick'ems, but as I said, it's going to be close. It's going to go either way. Either it's going to be an upset. Um, it could quite likely be an upset, to be honest. Ben's good, his team is good, but Phil is very good as well, and his team is very good too. Number one in the post-draft power rankings. Not that that means anything really, but yeah, it's going to be a real good game. One of the games to watch this week, I think. Yep. Next up, we got the Snowpoint City Blizzard versus the Green Bay Glissopods. So, Magic upsetting in his match in week one, and then the Green Bay Glissopods Matt getting an upset loss in not in their favor, like losing to the Crystal Palkia. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It like obviously two different coaches are gonna have different results, but yeah, we'll see if that uh, history of this season already, the upset wins for the Snowpoint City Blizzard and the upset loss for the Green Bay Glissopods is going to affect them going into this week. I think that the Glissopods definitely have the matchup advantage. Mega Charizard X is just a huge threat. Eternal Floette's not even going to hit it that hard because it's well not as hard because it's neutral to Fairy Stab because of that fire type, obviously. Mega Slowbro is going to be a useful wall against that Mega Charizard X though, but things like Hooper Unbound are going to threaten that out all the time. Raiku's going to threaten it a bit. Snorlax could be a good bring to help deal with like the Alouetta or assuming, well, I mean, Magic having Meloetta, you never know what's going to come, so you got to watch out. Quite likely going to be Pirouette form. Um, as the Glissopods do look fairly weak to a Pirouette form Meloetta, actually, but always going to have ways to try and deal with that. On paper, this matchup looks fairly even, actually, so um, we'll have to see how that goes. I do back Matt and the Green Bay Glissopods, but as I said, Magic did upset win last week, so it could happen again. And on to the UNC Wingirls versus Crystal Palkia, which is the closest pick'ems we've had this season so far, I believe, with 10 to 9, and probably going to be one of the closest games. I think Jay and the UNC Wingirls have made some changes as well, but as I said, I haven't updated any of these slides to represent those changes yet because they all happened fairly recently. And as I said, Ian's going to be talking about the changes in a video later, I do believe. But the Crystal Palkia do have a really threatening squad, and I'm not sure that the UNC Wingirls will have enough to deal with the likes of Mega Gardevoir, Kartana, Zeraora, Darmanitan, um, like that's and Nihilego as well, and Mimikyu too. Like Mega Scizor is actually going to be really useful here because it can take a hit from Kartana, hit back with I don't know, some fire move, hidden power fire or something. Mega Gardevoir is going to be threatened by bullet punches. Um, so is Nihilego, so is Mimikyu. So Jade does have the potential to stop sweeps with that Mega Scizor there. But like Jamesy with the Crystal Palkia does have a really tough team to deal with. So we're going to have to see how that goes. Comfy could come in useful as well with some of the priority there on the things like the Alolan Persian and the Hitmonchan, but it's not going to hit much else otherwise. Drampa too, I guess, but yeah. Going to be a good matchup to watch. This is obviously like going to be another good one to watch this week just because of the fact that both these guys are pretty decent battlers. And it's pretty split evenly both ways. So it's going to be one to check out and see which way it turns to see who's going to be getting the points, basically. Our last match is the LA for week 2 is the not our last match in general, but yeah, is the LA Latios versus the Flareons. Mega Dancy, Zygarde 50%, Volcarona, just those top 3 there is threatening as fuck. Though Mega Garchomp, Celesteela, Sylveon is nothing to sneeze at either. But obviously, Cade with the LA Latios does have quite the matchup, quite the experience matchup, I should say. Tiff is obviously relatively new to the draft league scene, with this being her second league. But she put up a real fight against Ian last week, and yeah, I wouldn't count her out. That's yeah, definitely. She's been a surprise this season so far. I mean, I know it's only one match in, but Ian was definitely in a losing situation in the match that versus these two, versus the Calgary Flareons and him. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think you should count Tiff out. But obviously, as I said before, Cade does have the experience matchup, and he is known to be a pretty skilled battler. Obviously, not unbeatable. No one's unbeatable. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I don't want to face Cade's team myself. I'm going to have to at some point, but yeah, I think like just the combination of Mega Dance, Zygarde, and Volcarona is just so tough to deal with. And then he's got like the Registeel, the Zapdos, um, to back him up, the Alamamola too. It's just very offensive team with really tough to break walls, and it's just something that I feel that Tiff will struggle, but as I said, don't count her out. Um, but yeah, so that's all the matchups for this week. Let me know who you think is going to win if you want. Check out the people who upload videos. I will work on getting them all into a description at some point. But you should be able to find them all from the NCL page at the very least. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week for some more pick'ems and sometime later in the week for some other videos. Peace.